Okay, I decided I was going to do a short tutorial just to show you what I do with installing my alignment pins in the mold blocks. You can see this one here's got a black mark on it. What I did when I cut these pins on the lathe, I stuck them in the mill while the blocks were still sitting in the vise, put a little valve grinding compound on it, and went down into the hole. They're cut on a 15-degree taper on the lathe, and I made a tool to taper that hole there at 15 degrees also. So I threw a little valve grinding compound in there and just put this in the drill chuck on the mill and just went down and bumped it 8 or 10 times. Cleaned up all the valve grinding compound, and there you go. So that's why that one's got the black mark on it, because I did them hole specific, basically. So what I do is I put these things in the arbor press. I just put the other half of the mill block on there, or the mold block. Go in there until I'm somewhat centered on the pins with the press. A little homemade Harbor Freight copy here. Cost me about, I don't know, 60 bucks or so. I bought the jack at a yard sale. I think it's a Harbor Freight jack. Yeah, Central Hydraulic Harbor Freight. Some angle iron, handful of fasteners, some flat bar, some crap I scrounged up. Anyway, I'm gonna press this together. That should be it. So, let's see what we got here. The edges are pretty lined up. I usually put these in the vise on the mill and take a skim cut, just to make sure everything is perfectly square. I don't touch the front and back because that's where they're split in the middle, and I want to make sure that the bullet is dead in the middle of that seam there. You can see that's when you press that in, they don't want to come apart. So when I pull these apart, I'm going to have just a little bit of daylight, more than likely, in between the mold halves. And so anyway, I'm going to shut the camera off, pull them apart, and then we'll pick it up at that point. Okay, so we're back. I popped them in half, and go together really nice. No slop whatsoever. Side to side movement. There is, however, and you're not going to be able to see this, I have to look really hard and get them turned exactly right. But from where the pins are, there's a little crack of daylight that comes through and gets progressively smaller as you go through, which tells me the pins are out just a little bit too far. And whenever you're pressing something, you're always going to get just a little bit of spring back out of that. When you push that down, you'll never, that's 20 tons of force on there, and we're not putting 20 tons of force on it. And you could see how that was hooked together coming out of the press, and now it's not. So we got to lap these down just a little bit more, or we could take and tap those pins down a little bit more, but then you take a chance of getting some slop in there. So what I like to do, got this Permatex valve grinding compound here. Just throw a little bit in each of those pockets. and then take it as it would go together and do one pin at a time. Just put it in there and rock it back and forth. Try and hold the blocks flat together. And switch to the other pin. You know, 30, 40 strokes. Back and forth. Should take care of it. Brake parts cleaner. That with some compressed air, and we'll have this maybe cleaned up and they should snap right together, just beautiful. And if they don't, we'll lap them just a little bit more. Anyway, that's how I set those up. Looks like I got some crap in the hole. I gotta blow those out with the air hose, but you can see the pins are a lot shinier. You can tell that the grinding compound did its job there. So anyway, I'll blow these out good and check it and keep going until I get them so I don't have any daylight. But anyway, that's how I do that, if anybody was ever wondering.